The Village Mayor's Daughter was the first Slovenian play ever to be produced on stage in Ljubljana. The year was 1789, and the play exploded into the literary vacuum of the time. The theme expressed not only the revolutionary sentiment of 1789, but in many ways it's a valid statement of the Slovenian consciousness to this day. Even though these Slovenes are the sons and daughters of a republic which today numbers fewer than 2 million people, their roots go back to the 4th or 5th century after Christ. They had their own kings and rulers until the middle of the 8th century, when they fell under the yoke of the Bavarians and the Franks. Through a succession of turbulent centuries, Slovenes managed nevertheless to secure a semblance of autonomy. Their language and traditions survived even Napoleon's armies, and by the time Slovenia became part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, their idea of a government by the people, Ustolicenjer Gospodetski Vojevod, as they called the practice of democratic principles, unheard of in contemporary Europe, had been tested for many centuries. So revolutionary was their idea of democracy that it survived to, many years later, stir the imagination of the fathers of the American Declaration of Independence and to inspire, in part, the text of their Constitution. After the First World War, when the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed, the present shape of Yugoslavia came into being. Slovenes were one of the 3 nations it consisted of at the time. But during the Second World War, things changed again, and the Yugoslavia of today emerged, consisting of 7 republics, of which Slovenia is merely one. The former kingdom had shrunk to a constituent republic of less than 8,000 square miles and 1.75 million people. The end of World War II saw the beginning of a major wave of migration. Canada, the West in particular, was one of the few countries offering work and settlement land at the time. And so they came, homesteading, working or farming like everyone else. Their common enemy, the climate, and their common friend, the earth, which by the end of the first year kept its promise to feed them all. Through the 2 generations in Alberta, they have managed to hang on to the most important value they brought with them across the Atlantic: their sense of family and community, their love of music, of good food, and of each other's company. Taking time out from preparations for a big social day, Frank Clement talks about his people.
Slovenian people started to come into Alberta actually after the First World War. They were coal miners and farmers, mostly around Churchill and Sangudo area. But then after the Second World War, that's where the bulk really came in. Mostly Edmonton, Calgary, but other communities also, and we have approximately 2,000 Slovenian people in Alberta today. They want to retain their customs and their culture, and they started to build this hall down here approximately 10 years ago. That's where they have their great festivals in the fall and other cultural events.
Although the Slovene language is closely allied to Serbo-Croatian, it is unique in many grammatical, phonetic, and structural principles. In the late 16th century, counteracting recent Protestant translations into Slovene, the Roman Catholic Church embarked on a policy of burning all the books in Slovene they could find, replacing them merely with a handful of translations of their own. It took the Slovene language and written word almost 200 years to recover. But the latter part of the 18th century saw a renaissance when a large number of literary works burst onto the scene.
Županova Mitska, Village Mayor's Daughter, was written in 1789. It was first play actually in Slovenian language ever presented on a stage in Ljubljana City Theatre. It's a light short comedy centered around a conflict between city and village people of those times. It tries to hold a mirror for the society to see the mistakes and bad habits and to try to do better. This was the year of the beginning of the French Revolution in Paris, and all over Europe the old feudal system started to change, to tumble. The peasantry in general was on the way to start to participate in their cultural and social life of the continent. The author Anton Linhart wanted to show the village folks, their language, their morals and customs are just as good, if not better, than those of nobles of the better educated city gentry. The play itself is carried by 3 city and 3 village people and a discreted municipal secretary who took to alcohol and is ready to do any task for a bottle of wine. The dramatic fight, it's about the attack of a city nobleman on the honor of a simple peasant girl. The nobleman is engaged to a rich widow of his social status, and he's after her money. Hiding the fact that he himself doesn't have any money, he decides to have some fun with the only daughter of a well-to-do farmer mayor, and to run away, if possible, sure, with her dowry. The girl almost falls, as you see, for his promises of a more exciting life in the city. But the plot is discovered in time by his city bride-to-be, and with her help, the village people expose and outwit the noble suitor. The girl returns to her true love, to her village boyfriend. It's a happy ending for the village people, but the narrow escape is telling them to treasure their customs and morals and to find strength in their roots.
There is a rich background, a reservoir of traditions describing the how and why of crafts such as these. But while the Slovenes do their best to preserve these kinds of extensions of their heritage, they have no intentions of letting their past interfere with their future.
The idea is that people retain the values, the morals, the customs, and so on. Now, this particular, or any particular custom, I don't think that people would cry about if it disappears. I think the life is going ahead. Things will change. Everybody's accepting this. Nobody wants to be static and just kind of worship the past. I think, you know, we have to look forward, and that's what people do. But there are certain things, they are very close in their memories, they want to keep. Perhaps their children will not keep them, and I don't think that would be any harm.
Where's Heath and Betty? Tell Heath to come so I can get his plate for him, hon.
Wasn't bothering nobody.
Perhaps the answer lies in a marriage of the old with the new, as in this dance. Modern choreography set to a traditional tune.
Most of families are very young children, and they would like that children would understand mother and father, what they talk about when they talk in their own language. But at the same time, they are all speaking fairly good English already. Even those who didn't go to schools here, they whether on a job or some attended English classes and so on. So it goes both ways. I think the Slovenian community is kind of adapting pretty fast to new life, new Canadian culture, yet at the same time keeping their own, what perhaps parents feel that they need in order to bring the children up in morals and attitudes and religion that they feel close to their hearts.
A great deal of time and energy is spent on the children. This elaborate production of Little Red Riding Hood, where the trees are really excited children, where the wolf tries to be as menacing as only a wild animal can be, where, just in case anyone forgets his lines, a prompter is standing by. All this is a good example of the kind of emphasis placed on a happy childhood and good relationship within families. And another example for the handing down of values, in this case the musical heritage, is the father and son team of accordion and clarinet playing the old tunes. When the final curtain closes and the presentations and other activities requiring a stage are over, the fun continues outdoors. The children play games that are as old and international as they are fun. And the men spend a lot of time playing a bowling game which, with minor variations, is found all over the world and called all names, from boccia to bull to lawn bowling. Outdoor fun is underway and the warmth of a closely knit community permeates the air.
Oh,
One game for which it would be hard to find an exact parallel is this one, a reverse and adult form of pinning the tail on the donkey, perhaps, or a more tactile version of hide and seek. Whatever the closest Canadian counterpart or name of the game, the rules are self-evident and the fun is contagious. There are some 2,000 Slovenes who now consider Alberta their home. Many of them still have strong ties with friends and relatives in Europe. But although the repeated change of their political borders during 2 world wars has dispersed them and altered many a future, there are several tendencies which have remained reliable constants in the Slovenian way of life. The closeness of their family lives, and the energy invested here easily balanced by their readiness to celebrate just about anything, and to dance with great abandon as long as there is music.